Hey, what's up guys? Today something a little bit different. I'm gonna be engraving some dog tags, or like one of them, to show you how it's done using my silhouette curio. I'm not gonna engrave one today, but I'm also gonna show you the settings if you wanna, for example, engrave a stainless steel kitchen knife. Now, I've used the silhouette curio before. I've used it a lot for my PC building, and I've done some engraving. I've engraved knives like these before, and I've engraved dog tags before. But I actually thought I've never actually done a video about that, explaining how to do it and what settings to use, because that's a world of difference between stainless steel and relatively soft aluminum dog tags. So yeah, for that I use a aftermarket tool. I'll put the links to where you can get things like these and the exact name of this and everything in the description. Let me show you. You've got your mounting, like the engraving mat. That's the one with a sticky material. You can see this is where the knives are mounted, and it's eaten some of that stuff away because I've removed the knife, put the next one on and started engraving that one. I don't necessarily recommend using the sticky surface of this itself. Now, for example, what you can see here with the dog tag, I have cut out the shape of the dog tag. And what I found worked way better than this sticky material on the regular plates itself, for the engraving plates, is actually using the cheapest tape you can find. That's painter's tape, and just making, let me show you that. Just grab a little bit and you roll it with the sticky side to the outside. You make it so, turn it into a double-sided tape. Let me grab one of those dog tags because I'm gonna put it on there and engrave it so you can see how that goes. Grab the dog tag or the knife. I have done that the same way with those big knives. Just put it on there and grab some more painter's tape. Make another roll like I just did. And simply put that in a different direction. And this way we stick it to the board itself, and that has enough grip, because even though you're engraving like this, you can't wobble this thing about that much. It's good enough, and it holds it in place really well. That's what I found, at least. And so yeah, you just pressure it on there, and as you can see, if you push on it and try to move it, it's not going to do anything. So it's nice and secure. So that works the same with the knives. Now with the knives, you have the problem that they always will be at a bit of an angle, so you have to remove a couple of these underlayers to make sure it's not too high. It's maximum of 5 millimeters in height, so you have to adjust it for that. And as you can see, you can lay it flat on here, and if you stick it on there with the tape method that I just showed you, it will work, and you can actually engrave this really well. It's not going to be a deep engraving, so let me show you a knife that is etched, so not engraved, but that is deep in the sense of very deep ridges. This has very deep ridges, and if you were to engrave it with a real engraving machine or with a laser engraver or something, you could get something similar to this and would look really good. Now the engraving I do on that stainless steel knife with my curio is very shallow, and in that sense, if you go over it with your hand you won't even feel it, but it gives it a nice subtle look. So you will see the engraving if you hold it into the light like this, you will see it, but if you like regularly grab it, you won't see it at first glance. And I really like that, because I gave them as gifts to people, and I had engravings in there from my country, so from Guatemala. Had like the Maya temple, Quetzals, stuff like that on there. But you don't want to have like an ugly knife in your kitchen. They could still use it and it wouldn't be that noticeable. But if they grab them and were to really look at it, they would see, oh, it's beautiful, it's got some custom stuff on there, and it's really personal. So that's the way I like it. Alright, here we are in the Silhouette Studio software. So First things first, if you get in here and it's your first time, select which machine you have. So that's on the right here. For me that is the curio, that's the one that I can also engrave. There we go. Automatically selects the curio cutting mat. I just change the orientation because I prefer it that way. I'm also going to set the grid in there. This grid is also on your cutting mat, so that makes it really easy to place objects on there the right way. Now this is on my editing rig, not on the actual laptop I'm doing on the cutting on, so that's connected to my curio. And the reason being, I don't have any capture software on that thing, and I doubt it can run both, even though that software is not very heavy. That is a very old laptop that's running that, and I literally just use it for my curio device, or if I want to show like a movie or something, stuff like that, but nothing in the sense of actual workload. You can drag and drop any images in here. I had dropped mine on the side already. So basically what we do, this is already the engraving line, but basically if you have an image, so you can just drag and drop it in here. Oh, that's quite large. But anyway, as you can see, it will just recognize that image. Let me scale this down rather quickly. Doesn't matter that much. Basically what you want to have to do then is you want to have to trace the image. So that's why you want something with not too many colors. And then you can select it. You can change the settings to make sure the tracing is better, or so that is optimal. Then we select trace. I'm not going to optimize all of that because I already have that. The image itself can be deleted, and the lines you have here, those are the ones you're going to need. Now select etching, which is the option right here, so on the right, in the right lane, and then the bottom one, and then you have different types of etching. I tend to go for this one, so then you put a lot of lines in it. Let me zoom you in. Now as you can see now, it's just the outer lines, but if you make this smaller, oh, it's on inches, Jesus Christ, I usually have it on millimeters. Anyway, you see all these little lines. Now these little lines indicate everywhere where it will scratch on the surface. So you can have different ways to fill that. Let me select a different etching pattern. As you can see, this is a way different form of scratching in it. And those are different ways to do it. I tend to use this one, and then on the smallest settings possible. Now I already had my design, which was here, as you can see, the umbrella logo, and then test, and then a number, so 00001. And it's basically gonna do all of that. Okay, so your design is done. Now we go to the send panel in the top right here, and then we select what we want to do. These ones, so they are selected now, as you can see, and we say carriage 1. We select the material. I already selected one. Metal sheets for etching. Action, etching, of course. You also have the edge. When you etch the edge, Jesus Christ, the English language, you can see it's not etching the right thing actually. So it's going around the etched lines and going around them. So basically that's not what you want. Let me zoom in more so you can actually see what it does. But it's not going to make the right lines. This is what you want. This is a setting you want, just etching. Now when it comes to aluminum and soft materials like it, the force required is minimal. So I tend to just put these, for the aluminum dock tags, put the force on 1. So having the least force possible. Speed, leave it on 1, because and if you want to crank it up in more speed, set it to like a maximum of 5. The reason I don't put that too high is because the aluminum plates are very, very light. And the faster you're going, and the more force of course, then the easier it is for them to move from their position. So I tend to leave that one at 1 speed, but definitely stay below 5, then it's fine. I've done it at 5 as well, it looks fine. But yeah, I prefer to go secure and just leave it at 1. Now an important thing is that you don't ever let the tip of the edge blade or the etching tool get off the dog tag or the knife or whatever the hell it is you're etching from, because it's a little higher than the rest, and when it goes off it can't get itself back up again because it's continually keeping that force on. So if that happens, it won't etch correctly and you might even jam the device. So be careful of that. Now, when etching knives, so the stainless steel knives as I have done, that is of course when you want the maximum of force, which is 33. The speed, because it's such a lengthy process, is also a lot higher. Oh, completely forgot to mention, when I'm etching the dog tags, I tend to do 5 passes, so it goes 5 times over each of these lines. Now for the stainless steel ones, as I said, maximum force, so 33 passes. Between 30 and 50, as you can see, the maximum is 10. So you're gonna have to set it to go again and again and again a couple of times yourself manually. And that is when you can have a speed from 5 to 10. And it's not gonna be a problem because a knife is very heavy. For the entire back of the surface area of the knife, I use the painter's tape to like attach it to the carrier. And that way it's very, very stable. You have a lot more adhesive and a lot more surface area that is stuck to the carrier, so it can't wobble about as easily as a small light thing like a dog tag. So that keeps itself in place. That's why we can use higher speeds. So for, as I said, yeah, I tend to go for 5. You can go to 10 if you want to crank it. Yeah, you tend to leave it at 5, and it is a lengthy process. So engraving a knife with the design that I did, of which I showed a photo, that took me 6 hours per knife. So that's a lot of etching. And as you will hear in the video when this thing is going, it is not very silent. So definitely try to leave it in another room or do it when you're out of the house or something, because it's an annoying sound. So we actually have it. Let me turn the machine off. Get the plate carrier out. And as you can see, nice and beautiful. Nicely engraved. So it does have some depth to it. Let me try if you can see that. Oh god. Focus my little camera. So as you can see, it does have some, and you do see the lines a bit, but it looks super good in my opinion. And yeah, on the knife it's more subtle than it is here. I have some pictures, but I don't have any video content on that because I don't have any of these knives anymore here. But yeah, that's pretty much how you engrave metal with this thing.